Hello there guys, welcome back to Younes Talks Football, welcome back to a brand new video. What an absolute shambles that was. What a calamity. To lose in that way, I have to be completely honest, absolutely unacceptable. Unacceptable, because it feels like we've just thrown everything in the bin. And not even a context of like, this is how we've been playing. We've not been playing bad, we've been playing well up until today. So what baffles me is on the pretense of rotating the team heavily for Ajax, and even the way that Maresca's been managing the games, which we've been praising, and the way that the players have been rotated and being able to be saved for energy and not to, and to prevent injury and all of this, we done that. Going into this game, we made 8 changes based off of the Ajax game. So there's no tiredness. There's no fatigue, players were rested, everything was smooth. Which makes me question, why in the blue hell did everyone today show up like they were on a hangover? Or they'd gone on the world's craziest bender, something that Jordan Belfort would be proud of himself at this rate, because it doesn't make sense or add up, as they've had a little giggle at that. It doesn't add up or make sense why the energy was so low, or why everything felt so flat. And as the game kept going on, things were just declining and declining and declining even further. That's unacceptable. That is actually unacceptable. There's no excuse and there's no reason for that to happen. And obviously there are things in the game that I'm going to talk about that I think influenced the outcome. Some of the substitutions and the timing of the subs and why that was made, I don't get. We like to give praise to Maresca when he gets it right. We have to give critique when it's wrong. But overall, I'm surprised. I'm astonished. I'm shocked that we started the game slow, right? First 5 minutes, slow. Then we scored, and all of a sudden, everyone's now on it. Up until when we concede, and then everything comes right back down. And then it's like we have moments where we're getting something, where we're working the ball well, but then bit by bit, it declines, and it declines, and it declines, and it gets less and less, and Sunderland start to get more and more confidence from the game. Not even getting into the game. Sunderland were not really in the game in terms of the output, but overall they were starting to build confidence. And we were basically offering it to them on a plate. Then the time comes to actually apply some serious pressure, and we don't. Last 10 minutes, okay, we've got to start spamming the ball in. Well, spam it then, you know? Instead of try and work the ball into the box, let's pass our way in. There's space now to cross it. No, we're going to go short. We're gonna try and see a player that's open for space, we're going to wait another 2 seconds, wait for him to get closed down, and then we're going to give the ball. This is what I'm saying. Today, everyone was operating on some sort of a lag. You know, it's like, I don't know if you guys are familiar when the internet ain't good and you just get buffering and things are operating kind of half-assedly. That's basically what went down today. I just don't understand what the core reason was, because in the first half, when we saw what I just mentioned of us starting really poor, then scoring and going to playing some really good football, piling on some really good pressure, and then conceding, and then bringing everything back down again. We spoke about this on Shootout at half-time. Make sure you subbed over there, by the way, for all the watch-alongs and all the other football content. But me and George were talking, and I made it clear, and I stick to this. I think it's a mental thing. You don't go from hot to cold that quickly unless if you are affected by the game, mentally. It's not even physically. So when we have things going in our favour, we've scored, great, and all of a sudden everyone's looking good, to the point where we concede, first sign of trouble, and boom, everyone now kind of collapses. That's mental. But I don't get why that's a problem either, because like I've said, what have you got to be scared about? What have you got to doubt yourselves about mentally, considering that the squad has been rotated well, there is no fatigue, everyone's that's playing is fit. You're playing Sunderland at home. We're not playing Liverpool at home. And even then we beat them. This is what I don't understand. Like, we felt on the beach today, properly on the beach. And to give credit to Sunderland, Sunderland, from the moment they got their equaliser, they stuck at it. Physically, they stuck at it. And this is another thing. We looked weak. As the game went on, we started to look weaker and weaker and weaker. And what do I mean by that? I genuinely mean physically weak. We weren't winning first or second balls as often. When the chances did come, we were, I mean, some of the shots were pathetic. Just no power, nothing behind it. Strength in terms of fighting man to man. We were losing a lot of duels. It's just a collective issues of things that shouldn't be issues. They shouldn't be happening. You shouldn't be that weak. You shouldn't be that mentally fragile. You shouldn't be so hot and cold in that way. And you just shouldn't drop as the game goes on. You're just literally declining and declining and declining. Not good enough whatsoever. I didn't have much of an issue with the way that Maresca picked the starting 11, except for one thing. I still don't know why this is not a thing. Esteval didn't start, and we were talking about this. Maybe Maresca wants the option off the bench, but funnily enough today, the options off the bench that he turned to were wrong. Aside from Esteval, of course. But the timing and the way that he did that was wrong. But apart from that, overall, the starting 11, I didn't have much of an issue with. Garnacho, very bright start and got his goal, and I'm very happy for him. And he played well today, which baffles me as to why he was taken off. Why was it not Pedro Neto? I'm going to ask that question. It should have been Pedro Neto taken off. Shouldn't have been Garnacho. And justifiably so, Garnacho, when he was taken off, was fuming. You could see he wasn't happy. And yeah, I would be. That early as well. He shouldn't have been taken off. He scored a great goal. Funnily enough, it was Pedro Neto with the assist. But ball into Garnacho. Garnacho runs, takes his defender on, beats his man, hits it with his left foot, straight underneath the keeper's legs, between the legs, goal 1-0. Thank you very much. And then we started to look good. We were piling pressure, we were creating chances, we were really putting Sunderland on the back foot, and that should be the tempo that you operate at for 90 minutes when you're playing Sunderland at home. I don't mean that in a condescending way. Sunderland are a good physical team, but that's why you have to do that. You have to put them on the back foot. If not, you're just not going to get past. So you need to pile pressure. Then they scored. They scored their goal to make it 1-1. Overall, just... you could argue both goals are goals that shouldn't be happening. Just very poor. Overall, very poor, naive defending. Very poor, naive defending. Way too open. The one issue that I had with us defensively today was not being able to be that extra yard sharper. We were slow in the context of every single time, even though we looked like we were trying to apply pressure or we were trying to win the ball, we were an extra second too slow. Everything. Sunderland looked like they were able to capitalise on that, and for both goals, right? You saw the first goal and how sloppy in our regard that was. And then for the winner at the end. Now, before we even talk about the winner at the end, the substitutions that were made, I had an issue with. Like I said, Garnacho shouldn't have been taken off. Pedro Neto should have been. I'm going to read out the subs properly so I get a good context of this. Mark Yu was taken off at 76. Should have been earlier. Should have been at 60. And even in that regard, it should have been a case of stick João Pedro up top, bring on Esteval, put him in the 10 perhaps. He was brought on for Garnacho, Esteval, to be fair. But it should have been Pedro Neto to have been taken off, Esteval to be brought on, let that run. Mark Yu not clicking off to 60, take him off, put João Pedro on, then look to see who you're going to bring off the bench to have some sort of impact to maybe accommodate the midfield. Andre Santos perhaps, or even if you're going to bring a winger on, okay, cool, but at least that's been made earlier. By 76, we were making these changes, and then he brings on Tosin for Josh Hachempong. That's a waste of a substitution. Complete waste. Josh was our best performing central defender today. No reason to take him off whilst you're chasing a game. What's the point? What's he going to do for you? Centre back for centre back once you're trying to win the game. Why? And Josh at that. If any centre back had to be taken off, it should have been Chalobah. But again, there's no reason for Tosin to be coming on. Funnily enough, Tyreek George comes on for João Pedro. And then we get to the goal. We have our chance. Ball goes over the top. And it's one Sunderland player against two of our central defenders, Tosin and Chalobah. And they both mess it up. Tosin lets the player go, leaving the responsibility to Chalobah. I don't know why. Because that extra time of 2 seconds where he makes that decision, Sunderland have gained ground. Why don't you just close him down and you've got Chalobah to cover you? Why are you letting the player go and then telling Chalobah to shift over for you to go and accommodate another space, only for Taulby to be running into the box and he's unmarked? No one's on him. That just summed the entire day off. The entire day was summed up with just moments like that. Of just things declining, concentration out of the window, players looking leggy for no reason, players being naive, players looking weak, players looking feeble, slow. Just that summed up the entirety of the game. And Maresca, I felt like, had an opportunity to be proactive in this game, at least in regards to the substitutions. You could argue Esteval should have started, but even then, the players that he turned to, and when he turned to them, I just felt like there was no reason to bring on Jamie Gittins as far as I'm concerned. This is why I say Garnacho should have played 90. Garnacho was one of our best players there, and he had that much impact as a balloon's been popped. A balloon's been popped, to be fair. And you know what? The way this cake came in at minute 92, or just as the game was ending, summed up the entirety of this fixture. We asked for this at half-time, and it came at minute 95. It's time to wrap up, isn't it? It's time to go. Everything went wrong. Everything's gone wrong. Yeah, everything's gone wrong. And the last thing that you want at full-time whilst you're conceding that is a happy birthday cake that doesn't mean anything, because we wanted this to score a goal. I mean, that sums up the entirety of this entire fixture. What a mess. And we have to move on to the next one, but this is a really, really bad loss, and it's a bad loss. Why? Because we are now into 7th, having played one more game than most. Man United, we're going to have to hope drop points today. If not, they go above us. And there's still Brighton and Palace, who might be Arsenal, and this could end up looking like a very bad weekend. So overall, not happy. It's been poor. I don't understand why everyone looks so slow and lackluster. I don't understand some of the subs that Maresca made. I don't understand anything from today. I don't understand the steady decline as the game was going on. And at the very end, we just looked like we gave up. And that's unacceptable, and it's not good enough. It's not good enough. I expect results like this to pop up in the season. You can't expect Chelsea to not lose a game. We are going to lose games, but not like this. Not like this. I expect it to be a hard-fought game where we have chances, they got chances, couple of moments, we slip up, we lose the game. That can happen. Today was basically, you know what we did? Funnily enough, we gave this to Sunderland on a plate. Here you go, Sunderland. Happy birthday, Sunderland. You got cake. That's for you, Sunderland. Enjoy. I'm going to end here. Subscribe, notification bell on, and I'll catch all of you on the next one. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I'll see you soon. In a bit, look after yourselves, take care, and peace.